So let's start with a new topic, which is inductors and inductances. Okay, inductances. So we know that if we have a magnetic field which is going in this direction, right? And if I place a current loop, okay, let's just say that this is your current loop. Now, if I place this current loop right in such a way that the magnetic field passes through it, okay, then the integral of B dot ds passing through this particular loop, right, is given as the flux. Okay, that's the first definition. So you can say that this is the face of the loop. Yeah, this yellow feeling that I have, right, the hollow thing. So this will give you the whatever magnetic field passes through this particular area of the loop, the hollow area of the loop, into the ds, the area will give you the flux. Now if I place this loop at an angle, it's basically a dot product, so I can say that psi, the magnitude psi, will be equal to actually B into area into cos theta. Okay, so what it gives you is, if I place this particular loop at an angle, you will get a different value. So if I place this instead of this, right, if I place it something like this, okay, which is at an angle, so let's say this is your axis at a certain angle. If I just tilt it, then as my flux lines flux, the value will change. Okay, so now if instead of just one turn, right, one loop, I have multiple turns, n turns. Okay, and if I connect a battery to it, if I connect a battery to this particular n turns, let's assume that there are n turns, and this is the flow of current. This will be the flow of current, right? It will flow in this direction, it will flow in this direction, something like this, right? So it's going to be this. So if I check that, my flux lines will be something like this. They will be going through this one, something like this. So this side will be your north pole, this side will be your south pole. Okay, that's how they will look like. So I can just say that they are going through, right? So my flux lines will be looking something like this. They will be coming from this direction and going upwards. Okay, so the current. So now since there are n turns, every turn there will be a flux coming out, right? Every turn will have some flux. So n into psi is going to give me a new term, which is something called as flux linkage. So if there are n turns, n into psi, the flux through one turn into n turns will give me the lambda. Now this lambda is directly proportional to I, that is creating that B, right? So since this is I, this I creates this B, right? Magnetic field is produced by the flow of this current I through this loop, okay, through these turns. So lambda is directly proportional to I. Now the constant of your proportionality is L. L is called as the inductance. Lambda equal to Li is the inductance. So this is only possible if I place this circuit in a linear medium. Okay, so this is L is the inductance of the circuit, and the circuit which creates this inductance is called as the inductor. Okay, the circuit or a part of the circuit which creates this inductance, which generates this inductance, is called as a inductor. For example, this particular turn, the inductance is created because of the flux through these turns. So this will become your inductor. Okay, this will become your inductor. So that inductance is given as lambda by I, and it's called as n, which is equal to n psi by I. So this L, which is generated by the current passing through the inductor, is called as the self-inductance. Okay. This particular L is called as the self-inductance. All this while, so all this while we have assumed that these turns are identical turns. Okay, identical turns. Second assumption is we have assumed that the circuit is in a linear medium. Okay, assumption is we have placed the circuit in a linear medium. Okay, and the third thing is the self inductance is because it is the same inductor which through which the current passes it. That flux linkage is generated by the same inductor. Okay, that's why it's called as the self inductance. Now the magnetic energy stored in an inductor is given as Wm equal to half into Li square. This is the expression for the magnetic energy in the stored in an inductor. We have looked at self-inductance, and we will see we already looked at the magnetic energy, right, stored in an inductor. So now let's assume a circuit which has got two inductances. Okay, two inductances given by these two inductors have got a current which is flowing in this direction. There is a I2 which is flowing in this circuit, and there's a I1 which is flowing in this circuit. Okay, this inductor here. So now what will happen is there will be a magnetic field B1 which will be created because of this current, right? And the direction of the magnetic field is going to be some in this direction. It will be, if you use the right hand rule, you curl your fingers in the direction of the current, and the thumb pointing will be like, pointing of the thumb will be the direction of the magnetic field, right? So what you get here is, this is what you will get. So the magnetic field is in this direction. This is B1 which will be generated, and correspondingly here, due to the current I2 which is flowing in this direction, you will get a B2, okay, which is in this direction. Okay, so B2 will always also be passing through this, right? The magnetic field which is generated because of this current I2 here in this circuit will be also passing through this particular coil, this particular inductor. Similarly, B1, which is a magnetic field generated because of the current in this particular inductor, will be also passing through this particular inductor coil. Okay, so what you will get is, first thing, let's define your flux. So let's assume that psi12 is the flux because of B2 passing through this coil here. Okay, so there are N1 turns of coil 1 and N2 turns of coil 2. Okay, so now B2, which is generated by this current, passes through this particular coil, right? So there are N turns, N1 turns, so B2 will be B2 dot ds over this particular area, B2 dot ds over S1. All the coils are identical, let's say all the loops are identical. So what will happen is, I will get psi12, which is the flux caused in this particular circular loop which has got a current I1, but the magnetic field, the flux which is caused is because of the magnetic field B2. B2 is generated by current I2, okay, the neighboring coil. So B2 dot ds will give you psi12. Psi12 into the N1 number of turns are there here, and it's because of the flux is generated only because of V2, not V1 is not considered right now. So N1 into psi12 will give you lambda12. Lambda12 is the flux linkage. This is the flux linkage because of the neighboring coil. Okay, this is the flux linkage because of the magnetic field generated by a coil which is in the vicinity. Okay, so now flux linkage is because of the current flowing in the circuit which is not circuit 1 but circuit 2. Okay, this circuit. So now the inductance M12 is lambda12 by I2. I2 is the current which is causing the magnetic field B2. Okay, so this is called as a mutual inductance. Okay, this mutual inductance is in circuit 1. This is a mutual inductance in circuit 1 due to the magnetic field, due to the flux linkage, okay, which is caused by the current I2 which produces magnetic field B2, and that B2 passes through the circuit 1. So that factor determines your mutual inductance M12. Similarly, M21 is the mutual inductance in circuit 2 because of the current I1 or because of the flux linkage generated by B1, which is due to current I1 in the circuit 1. Okay, so this M12 is equal to M21 and it is measured in Henrys or millihenry. Okay, same as your L is also measured in millihenry or Henry. M is a mutual inductance, M12 is a mutual inductance, or M21 is a mutual inductance which is measured in millihenries too. Okay, so this is because of a different circuit. It's not caused because of the same circuit, the current through the same circuit. It is caused because of the current in a neighboring circuit. Okay, that magnetic field determines causes the generation of your mutual inductance here. Similarly, self-inductance. Self-inductance is this is called as self-inductance. Self-inductance is lambda11 divided by I1. It's basically caused by the same current. Okay, you just take into consideration the self current which is generating that particular flux linkage. Okay, so flowing in their own circuit, L1 here is a self inductance due to the current flowing in the circuit 1. Okay, and this is lambda11 divided by I1. Lambda11 is summation of lambda1 is N1 into psi1 divided by I1, and N1 psi1 is psi11 plus psi12. So if you see here, right, you have one component which is psi11 here, this guy here, and there is also a psi12 which is flowing here through this. So that's your self inductance. Okay, so same way L2 is the self inductance which is in circuit 2. Okay, that is lambda22 divided by I2. Lambda22 is N2 into psi2. Psi2 is psi22 plus psi21. So psi22 is this, which is due to the which is caused by the guy B2 in circuit 2, and also psi21. Psi21 is a value which is B1, the magnetic field B1 passing through S2.ds. Okay, so this is your self inductance and mutual inductance. So don't confuse mutual inductance terminology with magnetization. Magnetization here is a vector. Okay, it's shown this way. Mutual inductance is 1, 2 or 2, 1. It will be shown because of the different circuits. Okay, total magnetic energy in the circuit is given as W equal to W1 plus W2 plus W12 or W21. W12 or W21, any one you can take, or W21. Okay, total magnetic energy through the circuit which we have seen just now, this particular circuit here. Okay, so this is equal to, we know that W1 is we know that through a inductor is half into L1 into I1 square plus half into L2 into I2 square, which is the energy due to inductor in this inductor 2, plus the mutual the energy because of the mutual inductance. So that will be half into will be equal to M12 into I1 into I2. Okay, I1 into I2. So this will be either plus or minus depending on whether it is opposing or helping you in that way. So this is I2 square. Okay, so M12 into I1 I2, or it could be M21 into I1 I2 also. Okay, but only one of them you have to use. Okay, so that's your total energy in a magnetic circuit. Okay, total energy in a total energy in a magnetic circuit. We can add a subscript of M just to tell that it is because of the magnetic circuit, okay, or magnetic energy. Okay, so we have looked at magnetic energy. Now we'll just see how to go about it. So to find out the inductance, first thing you'll have to do is any given circuit or inductor, you'll have to first set up your coordinate system, fix your coordinate system. What kind of coordinate system you are going to use? Rectangular, cylindrical, spherical. Okay, then what you have to do is you have to pass some current I through the inductor, which generates some magnetic field. Okay, find the magnetic field using Biot-Savart law or any other law that you have, right? Like Pierce law. Okay, at any point. Now once you know B, what you have to do is you find B dot ds, which will give you the psi, multiplied by the number of turns of the inductor, and divided by I, you will get your L. That's your self inductance. So same thing you can do for a mutual inductance too. Okay, so what we break up the inductance into two types. One is which is caused by the flux which is internal to the inductor, and LEXT, which is caused by the flux external to the inductor. Okay, the summation of the two is L. You already seen RC equal to epsilon by sigma. So same way this particular identity also holds true. That is L extrinsic into C is equal to mu epsilon. Okay. By the way, this is intrinsic and extrinsic inductances. Okay. So now we will how we had derived an expression for electrostatic energy, right? The potential energy in an electrostatic field. Same way we will try to find out the expression for a magnetic energy. What we have with us is, we know that the electrostatic or the energy density in a electrostatic field is given as 1/2 integral of dot product of D dot E, right? D is the electrostatic flux density, and this is E is the electrostatic field strength or electric field strength, right? So same, and we also have that the magnetic energy in an inductor is given as equal to half Li square, right? Half into Li square. So we will, on these terms, we will try to find out the expression for the magnetic energy in terms of B and H, like how we had in terms of D and E. We will find out in terms of D and H. So for that, let's consider a small volume D delta V, which is carrying two sheets of size delta x into delta y. These are the area of the sheets, and they are carrying a very small current of delta I. Okay, and since I is flowing in this direction, what you will have is, if you use the right hand rule, you will get a magnetic field in this direction, right? Same way, since I is flowing in this conducting sheet in this direction, you will get a magnetic field in this direction. So basically your magnetic field is going to be in this direction. Okay, now what I have to do here is, I know what will be the L here. L, the formula for L for this particular this surface here will be, or should I say, this surface here will be L will be equal to lambda by I, right? So that is same as you can say that lambda is psi is B into the area is B into delta x. I'm just worried about the magnitude. I'm just considering magnitude is what we'll be considering. Delta x into delta z divided by delta I. So this will be equal to, we have this formula, this will be equal to delta L. This is the inductance of this particular very small volume. Okay, delta V. So or this here, in this case here, this guy. Okay, so now we know that delta I here will be equal to what is this? This is the direction in which B or H is flowing in, right? So delta I over this particular sheet will be equal to H into the length. So I can say H into delta Y. Okay. Okay, so this one again, going back to this one, I will write delta L, which is the inductance, in terms of mu H delta X delta Z divided by delta I. Okay, so now what will be, if I plug it in here in this, my delta Wm, which is the magnetostatic energy in the small volume delta V, so that will be equal to half into mu H delta X. So what I'll get here is half delta Z. So this will be equal to delta V. This will be the expression for delta M. Now the magnetostatic energy density is given as Wm will be equal to static energy density Wm is equal to limit delta V tending to 0 delta Wm divided by delta V, which will come to H square, which is same as half BH, half mu, B square by mu. total energy density, magnetic static energy density is given as integral of Wm dV, integral of half into, this will be the magnitude. So I can write this as a vector dot product B dot H dV. This is what I'll get, integral of half mu h square dV. So this is the expression for energy in a magnetostatic field. Okay.